and knowing what to do for the rest of your life, because you learned what to do with the workouts, you learned what to do with your nutrition, you learned how to hit your protein, you learned how to fit in your lifestyle. These are lifelong skills that can last you, that you can teach your kids how to do now, that you can pass down to your family. Like I help my family with their fitness and stuff too. It's something, when you have this knowledge, you're going to be able to help others as well. So we need to learn it. Well, cool, man. Excited to dig into this stuff today and share these tips, man. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, how about you lead the way? We got 40 tips, tricks, whatever you want to call it, to stay fit. I know you're turning 40 soon. I just turned 40 a month or two back. So
nice. Yeah, next month I'll be 40. So yeah, it's, I've gotten in one of the best tips of my life almost at 40. So it's definitely possible for anybody at this age, even over 40. So I definitely want to share some stuff today. And I'm going to share kind of what's worked best for me, lots of my clients, all this stuff. I'm not just throwing stuff in the air. Like, I'm giving you real life examples of stuff that I practice and preach myself. Same thing I help my clients implement because it works. So not here to give you any BS, but yeah, man, let's dig right into it. So I'll just start off with number one: meal prepping. Lots of times we don't have healthy meals ready to go. We make those bad choices. So I like to meal prep. Usually just a couple of days in advance. I don't like cooking like 7 days of food, eating cold food, but I like to meal prep every 2 to 3 days just so I have healthy meals ready to go.
Beautiful. Yeah, and my first tip is kind of along those lines, is to audit your home environment, right? Because we can all say we're going to make the right choice, but if we're staring at, Mexican standoff with whether our vice is alcohol or junk food, if it's right there in our environment, we're likely going to make the wrong choice eventually. So try to keep the good stuff within reach, within sight, and the bad stuff out of reach, and ideally not in the house at all.
Definitely. And then as when we talk about getting your workouts done, we want to make sure that one thing I find works really good is just structuring it in your day. I have 11 to 1 blocked out every day just to go get my workout done, come home, shower, eat. So it's like very structured in my day to fit in the time, because we're never going to find the time. We have to make the time. I have a scheduled bedtime, wake up time, and then that time blocked out every 5 days a week for my workout, so it gets done.
Beautiful. Yeah, along the lines of working out, is like try to build in movement. Take the stairs, habit stack. If you're watching a show anyway, you might as well get on your walking pad or treadmill or pace around your living room and just try to get some movement in while you're doing something you really enjoy. Because a lot of us are just programmed to sit a lot. We're on our couch all night, at our computer to work. That's required. And then we sit in the car to commute. So we really have to build in movement as adults, or else we don't get enough, for sure.
Definitely. Another thing I like to implement is just having protein at every single meal. Protein is going to help keep us full. When we're more full, when we're more sustained, it's easier for us to eat less. If we're on a weight loss journey, be in that calorie deficit. And then, it's going to help us really stay full and, not wanting to overeat or binge later on because we starved ourselves for hours. So we want to have protein every meal, and I'd say aim for at least 30 to 40 grams per meal.
Beautiful. Yeah, that protein one, if you're to take anything away from this video, eat more of that. It's going to serve you so much better because you'll just eat less by default. So along those lines, just because you stole the protein one from me, is produce. Veggies go pair well with protein. It really fills you up. We're always having to think like high volume foods that don't pack a calorie punch in it. So this big ass salad with lean protein on it, like that's a killer combination, right? You're eating a lot, you're chewing a lot, you're not actually consuming calories to excess. So I think that's a good one too.
Yes. Yeah. And another one I would say is just waking up earlier. Lots of times we kind of had this routine in our day-to-day life, but sometimes we wake up and we go straight to work. We skip a breakfast, or we don't have the time for what we need to get done. So I always say, start off waking up 30 minutes earlier. Maybe you're going to make a healthy breakfast and have it ready to go. Maybe you're going to get in your workout first thing in the morning, but it can just be a very simple way to create more time for whatever it is we need to get done, having healthy meals, or just maybe in that 30 minutes of extra movement.
Yeah. Winners start their day early. They get ahead. They wake up before the rest of the world, right? There's some real magic to that. And along that line, just to kind of piggyback off that one, is like morning sunlight. I know that's kind of in vogue with the Hubermans of the world and that kind of thing. But if you get morning movement, morning sunlight, you just set your circadian clocks. You sleep better. It just has this cascade effect on everything else. So I think along those lines of getting up early, try to get some outdoor time in there at the same time.
Definitely. Another thing that I always recommend to anybody, I don't care where you're at with your fitness journey, like follow a plan for your workouts, your nutrition. The number one reason people don't succeed with their fitness, especially New Year's, they just go in there and they just wing it. They just try all these random workouts. They bounce from machine to machine, and you wonder why you're not seeing results. Like follow a plan. There's plenty of free stuff out there. YouTube, there's apps, there's coaches like us, there's help out there. Don't just go and try to wing it. Like follow a game plan. Even me to this day, I still follow a very structured workout plan, nutrition plan. I know what I'm doing, so the results are going to follow. When we just wing it, we get winging it results.
What gets measured gets managed. A great quote. I don't know who to attribute it to, but I've always leaned on that now ever since. The best businesses track their numbers. Best, most successful fitness clients track their numbers and really assess their progress in a multitude of ways. So I'm feeling in that one too. Just to dive back into the diet piece, like people label food as good or bad, and I think there is some truth to that. We all understand whole foods should be the focus, but the 80-20 rule applies to a lot of the dads we work with who, aren't the strict bodybuilder type trying to get shredded for the stage, but they want to see outcomes and results and still balance it a bit. So I always say 80% of the time, nutritious whole foods, 20% of the time, squeeze in some fun foods, maybe not the kryptonite stuff you really overeat, but some stuff that's considered bad, and you'll be more balanced and sustainable that way.
Yeah, well, I think you said it exactly, sustainable. And that's the key for long-term results. We want something we can maintain long-term and not having to cut out all our favorite foods or not having to, cut out a whole entire food group like some people do. Sustainability is the key. So yeah, 80-20%. I love that. Definitely works. Another thing I would say is just getting someone to hold you accountable. That's why I feel like lots of people do well with coaches and stuff too. But I also, hey, if I post my journey on social media, I was going to get to 10%. I posted it out there. I put myself out there. It could be as simple as you actually telling your friends, your family, what you're going to do. Put it on social media, share your journey. And sometimes people will root you on, they'll cheer you on. And sometimes just having extra support is nice. But also, you put it out there, most of the time, you won't want to let people down or let yourself down. So get someone to hold you accountable. It can be one of the best things you do for yourself.
Beautiful. Yeah. Public accountability. It's just too easy to fail or quit if it's just you that knows about it. Yeah. You holding yourself to it, it doesn't last long for the majority of people. So I like that one. On the 80-20 rule is like, have a plan. If you eat out a lot, ideally you don't. I mean, especially if you're trying to lose fat, it's hard to fit in restaurant meals too often, but we know people like to do it and indulge a bit. It's just have a plan. We call it the work back method, where you actually punch into your food tracking app what you're choosing at the restaurant, and then you build the rest of the day around it. And that gives you a good feel safe to say, oh, maybe I'm overindulging at dinner, but I'll have to compensate for it at breakfast and lunch and still make the numbers work. Like we talked about, the numbers matter, right?
And what?
Sure.
That was exactly my next point too. Actually put in your food. You can use the MyFitnessPal app. There's a couple of different apps that will actually help you track your food and input your food, because if you're always guessing, if you don't know how much you're eating, even if you're eating healthy but eating too much, you're never going to lose the fat. So I'm a big fan of tracking your food just to make sure, you're hitting your numbers, but also not going over calories or also not going under. Sometimes people starve themselves and it's like, man, you can go eat more. So that's why tracking is a very beneficial tool to really help you stay on track, fit in the foods you like, and then accomplish your goals. So definitely start to track if you haven't yet. I think it's super helpful.
Yeah, that's a great one. Of those big tips people realize is, I was eating more than I realized. As soon as they start tracking, like, oh shoot, I thought I was at 1,200 calories. I'm actually closer to 2,000. And right away, you can identify where you're going wrong. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to do it forever, but it's one of those tools that, especially if you're prone to overeating, it can help self-regulate for sure. For me, take movement breaks. Like, just get up from your desk, 5-10 minutes. Yeah, if you got a walking pad, you can actually do your work while you walk. That's great. But oftentimes, like, especially after meals, just 5-10 minute movement, it has a vast improvement on your digestion, blood sugar control, and ultimately weight loss, which is what most people are trying to achieve, right? So
yeah, I noticed for me what really helped get in the steps was getting a walk pad. If I wanted to be at my desk, or I even got a little elliptical. I wanted to start getting more cardio, and I have an elliptical in my living room where I could just go knock out 30 minutes in the morning or during my free time. It could be a great way just to get in more movement. More movement we get, it's only going to help us out as far as that goes. And then another thing we can do is just talking about the protein and stuff is just having these healthy protein or high protein snacks ready to go. I mean, you can stop anywhere, even gas stations got beef jerky. You can get eggs, you can get Greek yogurt. You want to have healthy protein, high protein snacks to really help you keep sustained through the day. It's usually when you go long hours without eating when we can overdo it. So if we have some high protein options, that'll help us, stay sustained until our next meal and just prevent overeating.
Huge. Yeah, along those lines, like try to think single ingredient stuff. If it comes in a plastic bag with a barcode, we can kind of guess that it's probably not ideal for us. There is a time and place to squeeze those things in, but if it comes from the ground, or it's an animal, or it's something that doesn't have a long nutrition list, that's probably a good sign it's healthy for you, right? And it can be part of a balanced diet. So just think whole foods as much as possible, realizing that no one's perfect. You'll just feel better. Dieting will become a lot easier because you'll be more satiated. You'll be getting a lot more micronutrients, vitamins, minerals along the way.
Your turn, my turn.
Yeah.
So another one I got is we need to weight train. We can't just do cardio alone. We can't just be walking in. Like, we need to strength train. That's going to help us build muscle. The more muscle we have, the more it speeds up metabolism, which is going to help with fat loss. Plus, we're actually going to have some shape and definition as we lose fat. So we're going to look better. We're going to feel better. We're going to have the strength. Weight train at least 3 days a week, ideally. I say, aim for 4.
That's a big one, yeah, because you can't tone bone, and you can't necessarily, like, a lot of people obsess about the scale and they take the Ozempic and they drop weight fast. But in research to show, as much as 40% of the weight they're losing is muscle and bone, and they're no better. In fact, they're arguably worse off. So yeah, think more muscle, better metabolism, like you talked about. You're just going to look better, and that's ultimately, I think, what people are after as well. Let's not lose sight of that. So yeah, nutrition's in the driver's seat, but strength training's in the passenger seat. You need those two working together to get optimal outcomes for sure. Well, I guess we'll call that my tip.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would say another one is just making sure you're getting enough sleep. Aim for a minimum 6, ideally 8. And how do I do this every single day? It goes back into structuring it. Having a set bedtime every single night. I have a wind down time. It's like I'm in bed by 9:30 to 10 most nights, but this allows me to get up early and get stuff done. And I like waking up early and getting stuff done. And if we're always trying to go to sleep at random times, our body can't get used to it. But when we actually have a set bedtime, well, now we know we can fit in the hours that we need to sleep, but it also becomes something our body gets used to, and it's going to help us actually sleep better.
Yeah, that's such a big one for busy adults, professionals. They always sacrifice that in pursuit of getting up earlier to do cardio or whatever, but you need that balance, because without appropriate sleep, you wake up with a drained battery, your willpower's low, you don't move as much, you snack more. It's a cascade effect. So that's an absolutely brilliant one. Cut out the liquid calories, right? I mean, that's one of the most simple, basic tips we tell people that are barely getting started, but it makes a huge difference. As soon as you can cut full sugar soda for a diet soda or 2 a day, you're just saving, 50 grams of sugar here and there, and it cuts down their weight by default.
Well,
So
not even just that, but I mean, people that drink just juices, orange juice, pineapple juice, it's almost straight sugar, but it's also just extra calories, that we want to save for food. So yeah, definitely get rid of those, high calorie option liquids, switch to 0 calories. It'll save you those extra calories. Another thing I would recommend too, if you're a busy dad, like both of us actually, and I think we both actually do this as well, is get some stuff for home. Get some home equipment. It's one of the best things that I actually have a gym membership and home stuff. There was times when I only worked out from home when my son was first born. Now I do a little bit of both and stuff. But if you're in a time crunch, if you don't have, you can save 20, 30 minutes just by commuting, by having some home stuff. And it doesn't take much. You can get a pair of the adjustable dumbbells. You can get a little simple bench press. There's a lot you can do from home, even body weight stuff. So if you're having trouble getting in workouts or getting in shape around your busy schedule because you can't go to the gym, get some stuff from home. There's a lot you can do from home, and chances are it's going to be a lot more convenient for you. You're going to be able to be more consistent. When you're consistent, you get results.
Beautiful, yeah. I was the type that, I've got to be at a commercial gym for the environment and motivation. And I had to make the shift a few years back. I wouldn't go back now. I don't have to wait for equipment. I can literally get off my desk and be there in 2 minutes, all dressed and ready to rock. And yeah, there's just a convenience factor that can't be beat. Most people struggle to be consistent going to a gym because of the commute time and scheduling. And if you've got some basic stuff at home, that's all you need. Especially at the end of the day, it's picking things up, putting them down. And that's the magic of it. But that'll be my tip: is don't program hop to the point where you're just winging it completely with your workouts. Like there should be some sort of set routine you're following, trying to get stronger over time. It's what we call program hopping in the industry, right? Where you do a Peloton workout one day and you find some on YouTube the next, and you just really have no way of really measuring progress. And that's not optimal either.
Well, when we talk about getting results, consistency is everything. Consistency with your workouts, consistency with your nutrition. So you have to find something that works with your lifestyle, whether it's shorter workouts or whether it's, you going to the gym or home. Same thing with the nutrition. You want something that's sustainable, that works with your lifestyle, because at the end of the day, consistency is everything. If you can only do it for 30 days, what's the point? If it's not a long-term solution, you want something you can be consistent with long-term. Well, now you're going to be able to get the results and keep them. So that was my next point is that. But another one I had is just really work on the way you talk to yourself. Have positive self-talk, positive beliefs. So much of us, if we've tried diets before, we failed. We have this negative belief that we can't accomplish the goal. I hear it all the time. Oh, I'll never be at that goal weight. I've been fat my whole life. These are the things you're constantly telling yourself. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to keep getting the same results. So we need to really work on the mindset and start telling ourselves, we can do this and we are going to do this, and start telling yourself positive things. Yeah, it might be hard, but that means we're getting better. And yeah, we can expect it to be a little bit hard and a little bit challenging, but that's how we grow. That's how we get better. So we want these positive self-talk. If you need any help with this, there's a book called What You Say When You Talk to Yourself, Shad Helmstetter. It's a great one for really reprogramming the way you talk to yourself. Another thing you can do is just even writing simple affirmations of stuff down that really, reprograms the way you talk to yourself, because you can have the perfect program and plan to follow, but if you have that negative belief in self-talk, you'll sabotage yourself.
Yeah, that's a good one to get in here. Is the mindset matters most at the end of the day, and the perfect plan is useless if it's not that 5-inch space between your ears isn't geared to accept it and commit to it, right? So that's awesome. Along those lines, I guess master the art of just continuing to show up. A lot of people can be perfect with the plan for a few weeks to a month, but it's about showing up forever for life that really gets you outcomes that last. So that whole 80-20 rule does kind of apply here again, is like continuing to do the best you can over the long haul is how you get results that stick.
And I always tell people too, yeah, get used to showing up, but don't wait for motivation. You're not always going to feel motivated. There's days when we all feel like we don't feel like working out. We're tired, we're stressed, we're going to like going out. But if we can get in the habit of just showing up and doing something, I tell my guys too, hey, if you can only do 70% of the workout, 80% of the workout, just go do something, because it's always better than nothing. And it really keeps the habits and momentum going, because we're always going to fall back on our habits and on our discipline. So we just get in the habit of just showing up despite how we feel. Like, well, damn, next thing you know, it becomes a discipline, and that's how we're going to really accomplish these goals.
Huge. Yeah, take the long view. Like anything, the whole tortoise and hare analogy is so true, especially in fitness, fat loss. Those who are still at it a year from now are always going to beat those who were super hardcore for 30 days and then end up falling off the wagon. The typical crash diet or diet with a name that comes with quick results but doesn't stick. So awesome, JJ. I don't know if we're close to our promise of 40 tips. If you got another one, feel free.
I got a couple more that I could share. Number one, today's a Monday. I always say never miss a Monday. Start off the week fresh every single week. If you had a great week last week, guess what? We got to do it again this week. We got to pick it up fresh, start it off right. If you had a slip up, you fell off over the weekend, you slipped up, doesn't matter. Hey, Monday's a brand new start. Get right back after it today. If we treat it week by week, Monday by Monday, like, hey, we just keep showing up. It's going to help us stay in that habit as far as that goes. Yeah, and then just remember your why. Why are you doing this? What are you getting in shape for? Is it your family? Is it for, you're tired of feeling this way? Do you got something coming up? Is it your health? Like, always remember at the end of the day why you're doing this, because some days we're going to have to remember why we're doing, why we're going to show up, because, yeah, we're not always going to feel like doing it. But if we can always remember why we're showing up, it's one of the best things that we can do for ourselves. And yeah, we talked about, I didn't feel like we touched on some of the other stuff already. So that's kind of what I had on that.
Yeah, man, I love the why one too. I mean, people need to pull back a few layers of the onion. Oftentimes, lose weight. That's not really going to get you up with your alarm every morning, right? But if it's to be a good example for your kids, or if you got pre-diabetes and you don't want to die young, like those are all the deeper reasons that keep us going when things get tough. So I think that was a good point.
And besides just a tip, just like general like advice for people too, like if you're not seeing the results that you want with your fitness, don't keep doing the same thing over and over. You know, if you keep failing on these diets, if you keep, you know, struggling, like why, like maybe you need to get help. Maybe you need to do something different. Maybe you need to invest in a coach. Maybe you need to buy, you need to do something different. But I tell this because it's like I see so much people, and I'm sure you do too, that go years. I've had people that have been out of shape for years, and it's just like you keep falling into the same trap. Like do something different this time. It's like we're in our 40s right now, and he's still working on our fitness. It's never too late to get started. You know, we're all busy. We all have stuff we got to do, but we can start to make the time. And a lot of times, it's just having that outside perspective, that outside knowledge from somebody who's maybe can help coach you through how to make it around your lifestyle, give you a plan that works with your lifestyle to really help structure it in your day. Because looking at feeling your best is one of the best things that you can ever do for yourself. When you have it, wake up every day and you feel confident, you look good and you feel good, you have great energy, you feel healthy, like it's one of the best things we can ever do for ourselves. So in my opinion, you know, fitness should always be a top priority no matter what else we got going on. And sometimes it's just, yeah, learning different things, trying different things, maybe getting some stuff, maybe getting help. But at the end of the day, you know, it's going to be worth it.
100%. Yeah, if it worked so well the first time, you wouldn't need it next time. You know, I've told people that, oh, the keto diet worked for me. Well, if it did, you wouldn't be back where you started, right? So try to think differently. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. For me, I may still be 260 pounds if I never hired that coach back in the early 2000s, just because I got out of my own way, right?
Well, hey, you know, I hired my own coach last year too because I wanted to learn some different things. I did a bulk, and now I want to cut it. And it's like there's so much different strategies, different stuff you can learn. And it's like if we are investing in coaches and mentors and stuff to help us, and we have knowledge, and we're trying to take it to the next level. Like if you don't have knowledge, if you don't have that experience, like why would you not want to learn it? And sometimes it could just be learning this stuff one time, hiring a coach for 3 months, 6 months, and knowing what to do for the rest of your life because you learned what to do with the workouts. You learned what to do with your nutrition. You learned how to hit your protein. You learned how to fit in your lifestyle. These are lifelong skills that can last you, that you can teach your kids how to do now, that you can pass down to your family. Like I help my family with their fitness and stuff too. It's something when you have this knowledge, you're going to be able to help others as well. So it's like, we need to learn it. You know, you see all these health problems, diabetes, you know, all these health problems. A lot of them can be fixed through diet and exercise. You know, learning these skills, learning how to eat properly and stuff can really just save your life as well, you know?
Totally. The return on investment and investing in yourself, you understand this. You've invested in business mentors throughout the years. I have as well. My business wouldn't be where it is without that. It's the best investment we got going because we get out returns that last forever. Whereas a car payment, yeah, it's cool for a while, but our body, our brains, like that's going to be the tools that we need going forward. And ultimately, those should be your big priorities.
Well, hey, and I'm in this perspective, obviously, yeah, this is something I'm very passionate about, but hey, I'm a dad. Maybe some people are here watching our dads. I know Mitch, you're a dad as well, but it's like, man, we have little people relying on us. What kind of example are we setting for our friends? I mean, for our family, for our loved ones watching us every single day? Are we going to be the dad that's overweight and sluggish and, you know, big old beer belly and, you know, have our kids grow up overweight and have stuff like that? Like, when we can start them at a young age from a young example, you know, set that example for the family, and you know, it can be one of the best things you do. So